3. Then spake Moneth, prophet of the temple of Azur that stands on the snow peak of Achmoon, and said, All knowledge is with the king. Once thou didst set out upon a 1 day's journey, riding thy horse, and before thee had gone a beggar down the road, and his name was Yeb. Him thou didst overtake, and when he heeded not thy coming, thou didst ride over him. Upon the journey that thou shalt 1 day take, riding upon no horse, this beggar has set out before thee, and is laboring up the crystal steps towards the moon, as a man goeth up the steps of a high tower in the dark. On the moon's edge, beneath the shadow of Mount Agonize, he shall rest a while, and then shall climb the crystal steps again. Then a great journey lies before him, before he may rest again, till he comes to that star that is called the left eye of Gundo. Then a journey of many crystal steps lieth before him again, with naught to guide him but the light of Razu. On the edge of Razu shall Yeb tarry long, for the most dreadful part of his journey lieth before him. Up the crystal steps that lie beyond Razu he must go, and any that follow, though the howling of all the meteors that ride the sky, for in that part of the crystal space go many meteors up and down, all squealing in the dark, which greatly perplex all travellers. And if he may see through the gleaming of the meteors, and in spite of their uproar come safely through, he shall come to the star Umrund, at the edge of the track of stars. And from star to star along the track of stars, the soul of a man may travel with more ease, and there the journey lies no more straight forward, but curves to the right. Then said King Albalon, Of this beggar whom my horse smote down thou hast spoken much, but I sought to know by what road a king should go when he taketh his last royal journey, and what princes and what people should meet him upon another shore. Then answered Moneth, All knowledge is with the king. It hath been doomed by the gods, who speak not in jest, that thou shalt follow the soul that thou didst send alone upon its journey, that soul go not unattended up the crystal steps. Moreover, as this beggar went upon his lonely journey, he dared curse the king, and his curses lie like a red mist along the valleys and hollows, wherever he uttered them. By these red mists, O king, thou shalt track him as a man follows a river by night, until thou fare at last to the land wherein he hath blessed thee, repenting of anger at last, and thou shalt see his blessing lie over the land like a blaze of golden sunshine, illuminating fields and gardens. Then said the king, The gods have spoken hard above the snowy peaks of this mountain Achmoon. And Moneth said, How a man may come to the shore of space beyond the tides of time, I know not, but it is doomed that thou shalt certainly first follow the beggar past the moon, Omrond and Azru, till thou comest to the track of stars, and up the track of stars coming towards the right along the edge of it, till thou comest to Ingazi. There the soul of the beggar Yeb sat long, then, breathing deep, set off on his great journey earthward adown the crystal steps, straight through the space where no stars are found to rest at, following the dull gleam of earth and her fields till he comes at last where journeys end and start. Then said King Albalon, If this hard tale be true, how shall I find the beggar that I must follow when I am come again to the earth? And the prophet answered, Thou shalt know him by his name, and find him in this place, for that beggar shall be called King Albalon, and he shall be sitting upon the throne of the kings of Zarkundu. And the king answered, If one sit upon this throne whom men called King Albalon, who then shall I be? And the prophet answered, Thou shalt be a beggar, and thy name shall be Yeb, and thou shalt ever tread the road before the palace, waiting for alms from the king, whom the men shall call Albalon. Then said the king, Hard gods indeed are those that tramp the snows of Almoon about the temples of Azur, for if I have sinned against this beggar called Yeb, They too have sinned against him, when they doomed him to travel on this weary journey, though he hath not offended. And Moneth said, He too hath offended, for he was angry as thy horse struck him, and the gods smite anger, and his anger and his curses doom him to journey without rest, as also they doom thee. Then said the king, Thou that sittest upon Ahmun in the temple of Azur, dreaming thy dreams and making prophecies, foresee the ending of this weary quest, and tell me where it shall be. And Moneth answered, As a man looks across great lakes, I have gazed into the days to be, and as the great flies come upon 4 wings of gauze to skim over blue waters, so have my dreams come sailing 2 by 2 out of the days to be. And I dreamed that King Abalon, whose soul was not thy soul, stood in his palace in a time far hence, and beggars thronged the streets outside, and among them was Yeb, a beggar having thy soul. And it was on the morning of a festival, and the king came robed in white, with all his prophets and his seers and magicians, all down the marble steps to bless the land, and all that stood therein, as far as the purple hills, because it was the morning of festival. And as the king raised up his hands over the beggars' heads to bless the fields and rivers and all that stood therein, I dreamed that the quest was ended. All knowledge is with the king.